What's up, dog?
What's up, dude?
Yo, man, I'm with the king of the forest right now. There's the forest kids, and then there's the forest king.
Oh no, don't even. I can't dude, you know there's like a whole thing going on of like in like social medias of like people like random it was a little bit ago, but like people would get duplicates of their account. Like just random, like a couple of me and my artist friends, like we're not like huge. Like but there you'd look up like Vivi Vulture and there's like 3 Vivi Vultures for some fucking reason. You're like, what the hell? Like there's one Forest Kid collect, and it's a picture of me on a TikTok. It's like some random fucking TikTok.
So it's not someone else that just has Forest Kids that's pretending that, well, that's someone else entirely. Like they're pretending to be you. Like they have your picture and stuff like that.
You could tell it's like botted because it's just like
it's botted. Yeah,
it's no one's trying. Also, why would you? Like, I'm struggling. If you can make it work, yo. If that's just free promotion at this point, though.
Well, dude, you see that sometimes on Instagram, right? You'll be on someone's story and they'll go, hey, you know, if you see Rob Johnson _1, that's not me. That's someone pretending to be me. Don't follow.
Yeah.
And I'm always thinking to myself, like, all right, how does the bot choose who they want to be?
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be random, or like maybe one time you used like one too many hashtags, and it's like, this fucking guy, we're gonna get this fucking guy. He used 42 hashtags in this post.
But as you mentioned, it's kind of flattering in a way. Because it's just like, wow, all right.
It's like, yeah, dude, you fucking try to make this shit work. Oh, fuck.
Dude, am I cool being this close to the mic? Or?
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, it's fine.
Well, I just got to say, I know there's not really a video component right now, but I really love your setup, man. Like, this is just, it's so prime for creativity. I mean, you have Pokemon cards, cassettes. Like, I'm surrounded by... Is that a kalimba? This is a kalimba.
So that's a kalimba.
Yeah.
And then you have a steel tongue drum that's just like one key, basically. Dude. Like a pentatonic key, I'm pretty sure even.
Okay, that's sick, man. So I would love to hear that later.
It's just like doo 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 doo. I did like a whole album on it called Zen Sleep and Zen Garden under Lullaby.
Yeah, man.
And nah, I did it wrong. Like it's cool, but like I need to add more to it. You can't just have it by itself. You know, it's very. I try to be like, no, maybe like I'll do this minimalistic.
You said Zen Sleep and Zen Garden.
Yeah.
You're really good with names, man, and just like, I don't know if you remember this, but you were telling me that you had this like whole thing with Shave the Mountain. That's another thing that's like stuck in my head, dude. You're good at like, I guess, taking creative expressions that you feel, or sourcing a name from your own creations and like naming that. Because most people, when they make an album or when they make a comic or when they make a movie, like they write the story first, they're focused on the characters, they're focused on the music, but they don't know what to name it. Like I feel like you're so good at naming stuff. Like even Forest Kids is dope. I just love that.
I mean, if anything, that's one thing that I'm at ends where I'm like, kids. I have fucking kids in my name. Like, fuck, dude. Like, really? I'm almost 30. Like, I am cool with it. I like it. I'll die with it.
Yeah.
It's fine. But there is a part that just hurts. It's like a little gut punch when you, like, search your shit up and, like, maybe it doesn't pop up because, you know, there's no views on it. You just posted it. And all this kids educational learning shit that's forest themed pops up. And it's like these lions and shit. I'm like, fuck, dude.
But that's kind of dope though, man. Like you could honestly like sample like some of that educational material, like it was talking about water and stuff, and like mix it in with the beat. Like the idea, I guess, of children and nature is like beautiful but also ominous. Like I think Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask,
it was always supposed to be creepy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not to me it's like mystical, eerie. Like somebody's in a village and they're like, hey man, did you see or did you hear about no, I didn't hear, like the Forest Kids, man, like they come out at night, you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing is cool. Like I like that. It's very Studio Ghibli sort of like nature-y vibe.
Yeah, like you have to own it. You can't like be like, Forest Kids, fuck it. You have to like you be like, yeah, this is this whole idea, this whole project. But yeah, it's cool. Like, because if you listen to the first Forest Kids release, which is now under Forest Kids Collective, it's creepy. There's like, it's fucking weird. Like, there's a lot of like, it's like, damn, this is not pleasant to listen to. At least like it starts, it's so ominous and all over the place, and that was like the idea of it being this like enter the void thing.
Yeah.
And then it just, I don't know, like making, I think just getting my camera stolen in college kind of killed the whole like, I'm gonna be a short film dude. And it just kind of leaned on like, all right, I can just like make effects in Final Cut.
Yeah, man, that's resistance. They talk about that in the book The War of Art. These things that happen that come to stop your creative energy, and that's a prime example. Someone stole your camera, and now you're like, bro, like I was trying to be motivated to make videos, which is a huge undertaking, but now like my whole energy is sapped, dude. And at the end of the day, man, you have to just look at the resistance as like something that is producing an irritant that is going to lead to something beautiful, like how sand in a clam, right, that turns into a pearl. That's like what the resistance is, man. So I feel that a lot when I'm trying to be, when I'm illustrating and doing what I do, man. Like it'll be something as simple as like, bro, why are there fruit flies in my house right now? And I'm like, oh, dude, this thing I thought I threw out, I didn't throw out. And man. And that becomes this distraction. And before you know it, like you don't feel like drawing anymore because you're all pissed off and you're looking for the traps.
Like you see this desk?
Yeah.
It's messy as fuck right now.
Yeah.
This is me trying to clean it up.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, it's really hard sometimes to get in a vibe when your shit's all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. But speaking of stopping though, you know, fucking switch gears. What you stopped the Andrew cast? You stopped your own podcast.
I did, man. I did.
I was kind of cracking up because I'm like, Bull had fucking Batman and was like, that's it. What else am I gonna fucking do?
I did have Bucks County Batman on. He was super cool. Yeah, man, a lot happened, and I'm very much a proponent of like, if you don't feel like doing whatever the creative thing you're doing is, don't, and do something else. Like I honestly just didn't feel like doing the podcast anymore. And it's not because of anything bad, like I was having a bad time. I was just like, yeah, I feel like I did what I wanted to do. Like I feel like that chapter's done. Now, it kind of does bother me that I stopped just short of 100 episodes. So maybe I will come back and do like a really impactful few where I bring on some like really key people in my life. But I think it served its purpose, man. And right now I'm just focusing on...
Was it just like a big stutter in your day-to-day, basically trying to get this fucking thing still moving?
Yeah, man. At the time, like, I lived in Philadelphia in an apartment with some friends from school, and where I shot the podcast was at my parents' house, so I'd have to go all the way to my parents' house, and then just because
it was a good place to do it though.
Oh yeah, it was great. But then like, you know, I was bringing strangers into my parents' house. I was bringing like Batman in my parents' house. And it's just like, dude, you know, like there's only so much. My parents are great and they never complain, but it's just exhausting, and they have to set everything up, and then, you know, you bring people into this basement, and it was a lot. I think now that I have like my own house,
that's kind of how the People Eating Fruit was like Brandon was like, we're just entering this fucking nice ass house right now. I don't know this dude.
Yeah, it was just
like, it's fine.
Dude. And that was honestly, like, when you guys came on, it was so much fun, and you were super cool. And it's funny, years later, like I still feel that cool energy. And that's the thing, man. Like, I guess what I have to say about this is that if you're doing something that requires a lot of creative energy and it feels like a chore, you shouldn't do it. Like, you should do stuff that, like, man, I can't wait. Like, I'm almost done this comic book called Stargirl that I wrote in February. I've been illustrating till now. I have one more page left. And literally, like, I'm very busy now with this new gig that I have in the house and stuff like that. But when it's time to draw that comic, I can't wait. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to put a podcast on and just draw like this final page and make sure this motorcycle looks exactly like the reference photo. And I didn't feel that way about the podcast. And so, like, what's that going to do? The conversation is going to drag. Like, you're going to start going over the same material over and over again. And then it's like, well, what are we doing? Like, are we doing a time capsule where I just listen to this for my own amusement in the future? Or am I trying to make something that, like, someone would listen to and go like, oh, that was entertaining? So yeah, man, that, in short, that's why I stopped, just because I lost passion for it. And there's no shame in that, man. Like, you should be honest when you're doing something that you don't want to do anymore, and then just stop. And you can always come back to it later, but it doesn't have to be like this big emotional thing.
No, like real shit. Like podcasts are weird. I feel like compared to any other, because you know me, I dive into a lot of shit. Like I do video creation and like music, and then like making the physicals. Like all that's like a whole, like none of it is like really a negative. Like sometimes I'm like, yo, I can't wait to finish this fucking video project because we just had a couple like full movies drop. I worked with my buddy Turbulent Determinism, and he's like incredible at making like AI videos and shit using Stable Diffusion and Deforum and stuff. And so like I'll take his bits and make it into things, and so like we did that for like weeks on end, and I like couldn't wait to do that shit. But like a podcast, like today, like I know you're an amazing talker, podcaster. So like that. I'm not like even there's gonna be a lull or some shit like that. Because I'd had a few in the past that were like kind of difficult to get through, and it, like I think that kind of always stunted the fuck. These aren't smooth as shit all the time. And so like, especially because you're not just interviewing your homies all the time. It's like, okay, I gotta be Andrew, or like I gotta be this fucking guy, and then also bring it out of them, and like I have to make sure they bring it. If they didn't bring it, fuck, we're kind of fucked here.
There's so much pressure.
It's like I'm driving out here, like I'm setting up this fucking mic, and then holy fuck, I'm waiting an extra 15 minutes. This guy's or whatever the fuck, you know, man. And like he wanted to use the bathroom first. Shit, here we go. Like oh my god, he didn't even say anything right, or like or I didn't bring up the thing, and so it's just this. It's different beast. Like I'm feeling that way with streaming too. Like have you ever like done live streaming or anything like that? Live stream your fucking drawing and stuff? That would be hot.
Thanks, man. I did do that for a little bit on Instagram. And I tried it.
I thought I caught you once or twice.
I started doing that during COVID, and then I was just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm thinking about people watching me, which is sort of distracting me from drawing. So if I ever get to the place where like that isn't a distraction, which will probably come in time, maybe I'll do it again. But like, I don't know. What about you? I mean, you said you're streaming, or
like I'm trying to get there. I just spent like all day yesterday doing fucking shit where I'm like making cool boxes and backgrounds and trying to make it not look like here's the screen and here's my webcam. And like trying to make it look like, hey, you're fucking tuning into something. But like, so like I'm trying to like produce and like make a song live. Like
people love that stuff.
I like the other times I've done it, it seemed to be pretty good. So I'm trying to like get back into that vibe. And I don't know. I feel like there's just a part of my brain that's just like off. Like, cause normally when I'm alone, I'm just like sitting here like, dude, I don't know. Like, and I'm just like throwing it together, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's fucking cool. Just like chill. But like streaming, you're like, okay, the stream's on, it still sounds good. Oh, and then you have to be like, oh, I have to say something like, yeah, that sounds great. And you're whatever, or like, oh, I'm into that one. Like you have to not just be in your fucking head, and God forbid if you have a noise gate on, because it's just like. If you're like kind of mumbling. So it's this, I'm trying to find this like balance of like performing / being just me and then just making it happen. Man. Because the songs I write on stream are not great. Let me be real. They're fine. They're a song, but it's not something I would like. Like not something I'm like happy with. I
think that's the key thing, man. It's like you need to perform solely for yourself. Like there is sort of that thing you get in your head and you're like, all right, well, I have to be entertaining. You just said that, like I have to say something funny or whatever. But like the older I get and the more, because I do creative stuff full time as like my job, and I also do it for fun. So it's a lot for me. The older I get, the more it's like, you have to only do it if like it's fun. Like if streaming is fun, man, and like somebody's there and they're listening to the song and they comment like, yo, that was hot, like that snare was crazy or something like that, and you get excited from that and it makes you want to create more. I
believe anyone would get excited from that.
Dude, but then that's cool. But if it's bringing you anxiety, man, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it.
I'm trying to break out of that. I feel like pandemic crippled me a bit.
Same, dude.
With a lot of social things. So I'm trying to just like, fuck, eat the frog and just eat that frog until I'm like, what's good, everybody? At 0. How you doing? Like 0 viewers.
That's what it does. The only way to get that up is just to keep going. So it's like, do you have the fortitude to do that? You know, that's all up to you, man. For me, I'm more of like, I kind of show people that I know like what I'm working on, and then when it's done, I blast it out to everyone. And I do that now by going to cons, and I sell a lot of my fan art, and I'm going to be selling comics and stuff like that, and that's how I make connections. But for me, the whole observer thing is kind of done for me. Like, having people watch me, I don't know what it is, man. I really value the time now when I can sit down and draw, or when I can sit down and write or voice act. Like, it's an intimate thing. I keep it between me and myself, but it's just a preference, you know.
I feel like that's most people, regardless. I mean, today's days, who fucking knows? Like, there's a lot of people that are really into the whole performing your life on camera. But I mean, more power to you if you're into that, whatever. But that shit just gives me anxiety doing all of it, which is why I'm trying to like compartmentalize it, whereas it's like, or whatever the word is. Like, on Sundays I'll fucking do it for a couple hours at night when I have all my shit together, and it's just boom, me on Sunday. And I can just stream. And like, because if I'm just doing it whenever I jump in, like, holy shit. Like, that's kind of how I was playing Dark Cloud. You remember the game Dark Cloud for PlayStation?
Yeah, for PlayStation 2.
Yeah. I was going
so
through
dope.
that. Dude, I love that fucking game.
Were you playing it on an emulator?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought it legally, of course. No,
I was just seeing. I don't see a PS2 around here, but it would be awesome
I actually
to play.
have 2.
Like,
one's broken and one's up there.
Oh,
and then
okay.
there's like a modded PlayStation one with like a Game Shark thing.
Oh, sick, man.
Like a bunch of random shit that I just want like a nerd station to plug it all in with a CRTV.
Yeah, I was gonna say the CRTV would really sell it, especially like on a rainy night, dude. All the lights are off. It's amazing.
I want that, but like, this is a great basement, but it's a fucking hallway, so you can't really do much in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is an awesome space, though. I guess, like, just observing your space, right? You have kind of like a place for everything. Like, there's vines, like it's very well crafted, and that's like how we are as well, how creatives are. I guess I can only speak for myself, but like when I sit down and draw, it gives me a break from reality because I can control every single variable. Like, I can control how things look, I can erase, I can redraw, and like I don't have to show anybody until I'm done. And the same thing is with music, right? Like, you sit down with these beats for hours and hours and hours. You control every single variable, like the pitch, the reverb, and all that stuff. And so I feel like as artists, we're kind of addicted to control. Like, that's our comfort in a world that's so just insane, right? And anything can happen at any time. We have these variables that we can micromanage and curtail them to as close as our personal ideals are. And that's why, like, when you enter streaming or when you enter people watching you, there's that element of like spontaneity, or you're being put on the spot, which people like us typically don't thrive in, you know. Like, that's a whole different class. Like, that's stand-up comedian, that's you know, freestyle rapper, that's those type of people. But like, we're crafting something, we're making something. It's like a dude who's like sharpening a sword in fire, you know. Like, that's what it is. It's that intense. You know, sweat coming down, he's banging and banging, but he knows that you know, a week from now there's going to be some guy that's holding this blade that he spent hours forging. He's going to slice someone's head off, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's just, I feel the very same way. I mean, like, there's such a better feeling of, like, being a fucking gremlin, like, going into the studio, like, the lights are dim as shit, or if they're off, and it's just computer screen, and you're like, all right, I have this whole file. Like, this was me, like, a few weeks ago. It's like, I have this whole file of instrumental tracks I have from this place I work at, that like, it's old instrumental shit that they don't use for like shows that don't exist anymore on air. And so I'm just like, fuck, I'm taking these awesome little 1-minute shits and put them in a folder, and I threw it, and like, it just spent all night just like pitching them and slowing them till they're like these vaporwave beauties. And like, that's where I'm like happiest, probably, where it's just like this, oh yeah, I'm just fucking, and like, you're in the vibe of like what you're making at the same time.
Yeah.
But like that's not interesting to watch. No one wants to see me like and you can't even stream like me drinking Milky Bong rips all night.
Yeah.
And then being just like, that's great right there.
Yeah, man.
And then I'm sure there's one person going like, I'd fucking watch that shit.
Oh yeah, there's somebody that will watch everything. But I think again, like, you're also going to pause to watch a YouTube video, or you're going to get up and go to the bathroom, or you're going to answer a text and be distracted on your phone for a little bit.
I think that's the biggest thing is that I watch YouTube like chronically when I do shit.
Yeah.
So I can't just like be on stream and then like put on like Oni Plays or like a podcast and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
I love Oni Plays. They're so funny, dude.
Oh, dude, Zach's Trump impressions, like, that was like the funniest thing for like a year.
My favorite is Sonic Goes to the Real World. You remember that? Where he's like, Sonic Goes to the Real World, dude.
Hey Corey, this is Sonic. Hey Corey, this is Knuckles. And when they do this shit where it's just like, hey, this is Eggman. It's like, shut the fuck.
It was like they do like the whole cast of Family Guy or Jimmy Neutron. It's so entertaining. But
I got my first cube. Just like shit like that.
He was imitating Carl. But people would say that back in the day, right? They'd be like, TV's gonna rot your brain. Like, don't you watch too much TV, you don't read books, right? And now, like, that's sort of irrelevant. But YouTube is the new TV. Like, it's as distracting as television was for the people in, like, the 80s and 90s who were adults. Like, we were kids, you know what I mean?
I looked it up yesterday. It was, like, it's like 2.7 or, like, 4 point something million videos uploaded a day.
Oh, yeah.
It's unreal.
I don't know the technical, like how, because you and I know a little bit about computers and storage and stuff like that, especially you, when it comes to video. I don't know how they source that, but
it's a whole skyscraper of tubes. That's all it's got to be.
I'm sure, man. I think of like the San Juniper from Black Mirror, like just this room of hard drives.
Yeah, it's a whole skyscraper of that.
Yeah.
Gotta be. Like, I can't imagine it's anything but, or it's like tunnels and like scary amount of tunnels.
Yeah. The point is, TV was addicting then, and that was when there were just programs designed to sell advertising. Now there's some guy who likes exactly what you like. Like, the entertainment is so curtailed to your taste. It's not just something you're witnessing come on at like 8 o'clock that you can't look away, because the audience is so niche, and everyone has like a niche taste, so they fit into it. Mm-hmm. So one, that's bad because it's really easy to get distracted and binge this stuff and not get a lot done. But two, it's really good because that means whatever you make, as critical of it as you may be or may think, there is an audience for it that exists, and it's really interesting.
That has been, I think you just hit it right there. That has kind of been my drive, like, since the beginning.
Yeah. Because
like when I started writing this shit, like I probably told you this a while back that I heard Boards of Canada, Gio Gotti.
Great stuff.
And that was like you can fucking throw a whatever in this and that, and that's a track. And I'm like, that doesn't even sound, that's like, I've heard a Justin Timberlake song or whatever. It doesn't sound like, this is like not polished. It sounds like, it's from the 50s. Like, what the fuck? And it's like, it was from the 50s. And so like at least the sample I think probably is, but like, it's still just like, that was like, oh, I love this so much for some reason.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't really like, I was looking for this forever. And so like, anytime I wrote something that was like, this is a little weird, or like, it's like hype and like it's got that extra shit in it, like, why'd I put that extra, fuck it. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, that's the one that people like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, like, cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad you like that one.
You got to think about that was you being as authentic as you possibly could, to the point where you didn't curb your art for someone else. Mm-hmm. And that's why you made like something really good, because instead of being like, how do I make this cool and more palatable, you were like, how do I make something I like? And when you do that, that's when people really dig you. And when you don't, it's like you can gain notoriety or whatever you're looking for with that, but it's never going to fulfill you, and it's not going to fully fulfill someone else.
I feel like you've been working on like art for a long time.
That's
doing
what I do,
million comics and shit.
That's what I do,
and now like you're working on like a precipice piece with this new thing.
Well, yeah. I can't escape it, man. Like, I'm a professional storyboard artist now, so I do a lot of storyboard, and I do a lot of content creation. for companies that are looking for LMS and video and stuff like that. So I can't escape it. But
okay, wait. So I want to get to really quick. Do you get to a point where like you do a page, you know, you do a panel or some shit, and it's like you maybe almost like surprise yourself?
Yeah.
Where you like kind of look at it as just like, I didn't do that. Or like, damn, like I can't fucking believe that this is. I guess this is like a part of me. This is insane. Like, those moments are crazy.
Yeah, I look at my work, some of it, not all of it, with pride. And what's really cool is that if I show someone a sneak peek of like my books before it comes out or something like that, and they have like a really positive reaction to the same art that I had a positive reaction to, where I'm like, dang, I really killed that. And then when someone's reading it, they're like, wow, I really like this panel. I go, like I always take note of that. And I'm sure it's the same way with you for music, man. Where
you can see the numbers, like, and like that was like my first awakening.
Numbers,
like I got my first like Spotify editorial from a track that I wasn't even gonna put on the album.
Right.
And that like shaped that was another like, fuck it. Moment, like I'm just going for it. Like I can have a curveball track, and then like people might see that as, oh, this stands out. When I was going for this, they were looking for this, and like, oh, okay. And like regardless if I'm gonna keep going that way, it's still just like you get a better idea of what's going on with you, and your audience. Like, the track was called "Cock Me Amadeus," like, but like, you know, CKME, like it was like, you know, dope. Abbreviated. And I'm just like, no fucking way Cock Me got on there. And that just blew me away. Like seeing that, like being the top track, I'm like, holy fuck. So never doubt yourself. I feel like if you make it, just put it out. Like all these artists that like make art or make songs, and they're just like, I gotta do a thing, or I gotta try to send it to someone. It's like, or you just do a YouTube video, try to do it yourself, and then work on the next fucking thing.
When you're a professional creative, you will be subject to the notes of whoever is in charge of paying you. Like, that's just what happens. You'll work all day on this thing, and then there's a ton of notes, and then you have to work another day on this thing that took one day. So give yourself the grace of when you're working on personal stuff, just let it be your notes. Like, just let it be what you think about it, and not this imaginary person that you're watching it from their perspective. Because you'll do that with your client. That's fine, you know. But with your own personal stuff, man, like, you have to let you be the guide. And it's hard because total freedom is sort of, it's like a blessing and a curse. Obviously, what you're making should have some sort of structure if that's what you're going after. But yeah, the story of this comic Stargirl is something that is not going to be for everybody. It's probably going to be pretty anticlimactic for a comic book. There's no punches being thrown or anything like that. But the story is very allegorical for complex experiences that I've had in my life recently, and that I just need to get out on a page. Maybe without writing them out literally, but by inferring, by showing. And so that's what this book is about. And I already know people are going to enjoy it because of the art. The story might be lackluster for some, but I'm not really concerned about that, because when I look at it, it feels like a complete package. It feels like something I'm happy to put out. So yeah, and if you can honestly say that for yourself, like when you listen to the whole thing, when you're done the album and you sit down and you listen to it and you're like, yeah, bro, that's complete. Like, man, that comes full circle. Like, all right, cool. Once you get to that, that's it. Just move on to the next thing.
What's the back book story? Give us the back of the book.
So a boy goes on a date with a girl, and it's a first date. He's pretty nervous, and she hangs out every night on the top of this sort of like mountain, like hill, kind of in the woods, this really high outlook. And she goes there a lot, and something supernatural happens on this first date that
chaos ensues.
It is a bit of chaos, man. It is a bit of chaos. She's expecting this supernatural thing to happen because she goes to this spot regularly to see the supernatural phenomenon, but he is not aware at all that this is about to happen. And so when it happens, it kind of blows his world apart. And yeah, so I mean that's as much as I can get into it without
don't
really spoiling it.
Don't
but
spoil it.
I guess the premise is like human connection and who we are as people, how we interact, has a lot more to do with our memories and the way that we were raised than maybe some sort of innate personality, which sounds like, how do you extrapolate that from what you just described? But I think I do a pretty good job in the book of sort of getting to that abstract. But yeah, I was
There's
really...
a lot to read. Why are you thinking that, guy? Fucking hold on. Hold your bricks.
This one doesn't have a lot of dialogue, but yeah, just not to ramble on too much about it. It's very much inspired by Jonan Vasquez, who did Invader Zim, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and Squee. Especially inspired by Squee. I've always loved his art style. So it's inspired by that. And then Fooly Cooley. I'm not sure if you ever watched that on Adult Swim.
That sounds really familiar.
It's like a 5-episode manga. It's super short, and it's about this boy who meets a girl from outer space, and it's kind of like a coming of age story. You know, he's like hitting puberty and realizing his feelings. It's inspired by both of those. It has a very summer vibe, and yeah, it's cool. Actually, I'll show you a little bit of it once we're done the podcast, because I have it in my backpack. I always bring my iPad with me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
dude. So why did you I kind of want to ask this way in the beginning, but whatever. Why did you start your podcast in the beginning? Like, what made you like?
So Andrewcast, yeah, man. So I worked in television for a good portion of my immediate college after years, and I started off as an assistant editor. I'm not sure if you know what that is. It's
a little bit.
Yeah, it's you basically go through and you have all this footage that they shot for this TV show, and the chief editor has to put it together. So you, as the assistant editor, you're green. You go through and like you label everything. So you know, you throw it up in Avid or Premiere or whatever, and you're like, wide shot construction zone. You know, so WS construction. CU John, close up of John. So you're labeling all this footage so that when the chief editor puts it together,
it's ready to fucking
go.
go.
Exactly. And so I don't have to listen to anything like while I'm doing that. I just have to look and see like what the shot is on Premiere. So I started listening to podcasts, man, and because I would be working 10 hours a day on just labeling clips, and I would just listen to these amazing podcasts and amazing stories, and sort of the same thing that you had with Boards of Canada, where you go, I could do this, you know, like not like I can do this and be like as great as what I'm listening to.
Or it's like, oh shit, it's really just this.
Yeah, like I could take a stab at this, and
I feel like I have to like, what's the word? Like just eating this content for so long, you're like the veil is lifted, and you're like sitting there working in that field already, going like, yeah, all right, this is in my field, like this is doable,
dude. That's been my pattern for my whole life, like. The thing I listen to the most or enjoy the most, I eventually go like, I can do this. Like cartoons, inundated with cartoons since a little kid. I can make a cartoon. Read comic books all the time. Like I can make a comic book. Listen to podcasts. Like I can do a podcast. So, you know, what I did is I named it after myself, which in retrospect was kind of cringy, but at the time I was looking at Joe as a model, and his was Joe Rogan Experience, but it was never about him. Like it wasn't about his life. Like he would just bring people on and they would talk. And so I kind of wanted to do the exact same thing because I saw him as the most successful, and I was like, well, this will be the model. Like I just bring people on and we just talk. And at first it was kind of all over the place, and then we got to be more interest based, where it was about like creatives. And then it sort of evolved into like nerd and anime talk, where we would like break down video games and movies and why we like them and stuff like that. And again, like all fun stuff. So yeah, that was like the impetus. The impetus was just having a job that didn't require me to listen to anything. Like people hit me up all the time to ask like, hey, like, what podcast should I listen to? Or like, how can I start a podcast? Like what technology do I have to buy and stuff like that? And that's when I realized that it's, if you have a form of entertainment that you can enjoy while doing something else, while being productive, that's like the quintessential example of 21st century entertainment. Yeah. You know, you're not sitting down or like huddled by the radio and fiddling with your, you know, you're putting together IKEA furniture and hearing a funny story. That's that has a lot of value. It has a lot of value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like fucking kids today, they're playing a game and making fucking hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
like there's so much today that you can do. Like, how many motherfuckers are on Twitch watching YouTube? Like, shit I'm afraid to do on Twitch. They're just like, this is all I do.
Yeah.
Is just fucking watch this shit.
Yeah,
like,
man.
I want to know how to get there. Like, how can you just do that, by the way? Do you know anything about that, by the way?
What, the video game streaming?
Yeah, no, like fucking if you just watch shit on YouTube, on Twitch. Like,
Like reaction
yeah,
streaming?
have you seen that?
Yeah, I mean, what it comes down to is time. And I know it's like, I can't speak on this with sweat equity because I don't do that, but I know people who do. Like, I have a very good friend who was on my podcast. His name is James Adams III, and he has a very, very popular YouTube channel called Filmmaker Reacts, where he'll watch movies and then he'll just kind of like give his opinion or react to scenes. And what it comes down to, man, is time. Time is the big killer. Like, I'm sure he won't mind me sharing the story, but like, he moved out to LA and stuff got pretty raw out there. He ended up coming back. He didn't know what he was going to do. And then he made this YouTube channel because all he had was time. Like, all he had was time to just watch movies and tape his reaction. Like, dude, he came over to my house with a copy of Akira and a microphone and like sat down on the couch with the microphone, and like we would go back and forth while watching the movie.
Awesome.
It was that weird, right? And now his full-time job is to do that YouTube channel, but it's time. The older you get, the more responsibility you have, the more bills you have to pay, the less time you have. The younger you are, the more time you have, the less responsibility, the better shot you have at doing that as like a living, because all you have is time. I had a buddy who came on the podcast for a while. He was a affiliate, I don't know what you call them, Twitch streamer, a guy who gets paid. He said that he had to play Fortnite 12 hours a day. So that's the thing. It's like, not a lot of people that are our age can do something for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
They just can't afford to do it. But that's the answer. That's how you get there. You just do it more than anyone else does. Because chances are someone's going to be flipping through the channels, and if you're on, then they're going to watch you. But if you're only on for 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, like, it's going to be hard for people to catch you.
That's insane. Oh my god.
It's what it does, man. It's what it is. So,
Fuck.
yeah, that's not my game, dude. My game is stay quiet, enjoy my life, man. Take walks, work on a book, work on a comic, and then like 8 months I pop up and it's done. I make a little money off of it. I go back, I make the next thing. Like, I'm very content with the quietness of being an artist and being a creative. You know, if I can make money off of it, if I can live off of doing this stuff, which is, thank God I've been able to do that, that's all I want.
I feel like it's really hard today for artists, but like once you get a follow, because I feel like you can get followings with like your own shit.
Oh yeah.
And then that's all you need.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like a lot of people like make transitions from YouTube to Patreons and stuff like that too. It's a whole wild west for artists, because I feel like it's a lot easier to grab. I don't know, it's because it's hard as fuck as well with AI art and all this bullshit, you know. But I feel like at the same time, it's a lot easier to grab someone's attention with a piece of your art and to be like, yo, it's a whole fucking comic, like come on in.
Yeah.
And people will be like, yo, I kind of want to come on in and check this out. You have an album, bro, I could give a fuck about your fucking music, dog. Why would I ever check it out? And you want to know why a lot of albums today do well? I would say it's because it's good music for sure. Like, that's just like ground level. It's got to be good in some retrospect, or like cohesive to what you're trying to fucking do. Like I put out a weirdcore record. It may sound like shit, but it's so cohesive to the aesthetic of weirdcore.
Yeah.
And like that did pretty well, but like,
That stuff's frightening. That's like with all the eyes and stuff like that.
yeah, but it's more so like a nostalgia grip. It at least my record leans more so on the nostalgia and less on the weird eyes and like the glitter shit. That's kind of like, this is like a bit over the top.
Yeah.
Like, I like it when it's like weirdcore and it shows like a cafeteria and it's just like an empty cafeteria.
That's like liminal spaces.
Yeah, but like has like that super nostalgia tinge to it. So I'm like, all right, weirdcore, fuck it.
Yeah.
But what I'm just trying to get to, like, it's album art. It's like
Yeah.
that is like a huge fucking factor today. Or if you have a great music video, that is probably way bigger than
Yeah.
album art, which is why people do singles all the time. So you can do a banger single music video, chop that shit up for 1 million TikToks. And my buddy Mikey Mayo, he's fucking crushing it doing that. And
Yeah.
like he worked with the one dude in LA, Sean Barrett or something. He does like the green screen music videos.
Okay.
You've probably seen one.
I
They're really
guarantee.
funny.
Yeah.
But he worked with him to do a video, and so like that's a great way to do it. It's a lot harder with music because you just making music is just like the baseline. Like it's like having paper for you. I feel.
Well, it's whatever gets to your participant faster. I would say viewer, but people aren't viewing your music, right? So
you have to like, dude, it's time.
One Heart, right?
It's time.
One Heart. All of his music is in these TikToks and stuff. So people are like watching these TikToks and they hear the One Heart song, and like as soon as they click the video, it plays. So that's the thing. Like you have to sit down and listen to your music. Like you have to press play. That's why that single cover is just the first thing that they reach. Like, all right, how do I judge your music? How do I judge it's going to sound? Well, it has a vibe. I'm guessing that the vibe of this image represents what your music is. If it's like a chill, calming vibe, and people go, okay, you know what I mean? Like I was on your account today and I saw like there's this picture of this kid. It looks like an AI picture.
Yeah.
And
This
like
is some bullshit thing.
But dude, like I totally get the vibe of what that kid is, that walking kid, like with the scarf and stuff like that. Like I can imagine what music would accompany that image.
Yeah.
So you're right, you know?
Like I try to like make everything super cohesive, especially when I use AI art. I don't try to use it a lot, but you know, recently this past year I had like 25 fucking releases or some shit, and you can't just use stock footage or like stock pictures or like what am I gonna do? Take a picture of a tree outside on my phone? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go make some art for this otherworldly ass shit I'm putting out.
Dude, here's my take on AI. I don't see it as this great evil that a lot of artists see it. Like, it's going to take our jobs and stuff. Maybe. But I think what it's going to do is it's going to assist creatives in the way that it's going to take away all the tedium of being creative. So, for example, you make a cartoon. There's like a crowd artist that has to just make a bunch of like crowd people. Like the AI is going to be able to do that so that you can focus on, you know, the mainline animation and stuff like that. Or there's an environment that you have to create. The AI is going to make a model of it, and then there's going to be the same team to come in and adjust that model a little bit. Like it's going to create more of a baseline. It's not going to completely replace artists. So people, I don't have to say that people have to calm down, but it's incredible what it can do. It should be ethically sourced. They should definitely pay royalties to these people that they sample to create these images. But if you use AI art, man, you're not. Yeah, that's awesome. That's dope. That's a super. So right now, what I'm being shown is it's like a landscape, this sort of purple sky with
like
a meteor
anime
shower.
Fucking beauty. It's like a Ghibli film.
Yeah,
and it's like give me 3 more years, I'll be able to make the Forest Kids comic like this.
Yeah.
Or at least something, or at least be able to do the background and hire someone to make like the characters and add them in.
My point is that the marketplace is never going to pay for this in the same way that they would pay for a Hayao Miyazaki movie.
Absolutely.
Or something that's made by a renowned creative, or something that is genuinely made by like a human. Yes, this looks great, but it almost has too much polish, and people sort of attach their creative value to the person. So an AI can make a perfectly normal Kanye West song where you go like, this sounds like Kanye West would make this, but no one is going to get excited about that.
Exactly.
You know, no one's going to get excited about that. So you don't have to worry as an artist. It's amazing. Computers are awesome. I think AI art is great. It is scary how fast it's growing, but it shouldn't be a thing of intimidation. We should embrace it and be like, okay, how can this help us make more stuff? How can this help us make better stuff? And more importantly, man, how can this help us make stuff faster? That's what I think it's going to do. It's going to help us create things way faster.
For sure. But we are in an area where a lot of people will be eaten. Like a lot of people, like right now already, we had that going with like Firefly music. You know, have you heard about this? Or like lo-fi fruits and all, or like ambient fruits. This fruits company, Music Fruits, I believe is like the thing, or Fruits Music. Who gives a shit? But basically, they'll have like there's a couple like theories out there, but I'm pretty sure it's like they have a group of dudes just making beats all day, and they just drop all this music all the fucking time. They have like a direct line with Spotify, and that's why there's like all these like one track artists.
You saying it's all AI lo-fi?
No, I'm just saying,
okay.
right? Like we already have this going right now,
Yeah.
where it's like simple ass on top of like simple lo-fi beats, and they're all like top charting, and it's like just these one track artists. Of like, oh, we'll make another one. Oh, we'll make another one, and we make 1 million a day. That can happen so easily with AI, to where even those fucking guys are going to be out of a job.
Yeah.
And the AI is going to pump out the shit just like you said, faster. And maybe it'll take a few years for it to really hit. But this shit ain't hard to do. And it's even easier to make an ambient track or a drone track or a fucking quote unquote field recording track from AI, to where it's just pumping out fake bullshit. I mean, I'm sure it'll sound great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll sound amazing, but it's going to eat people like me. It's going to eat people like a lot of my friends. And yeah, you're right. They'll always want the Kanye West, but we're not Kanye West. Like, not a lot of people are Kanye West.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Bad example of a hip hop artist.
No. You bring up a really good point, which is like people who make art professionally, right? They should feel threatened by this, because what you're saying is some people's function can be easily copied by this thing. And that's a really good point, man. I have nothing to contest there. I'm
not trying to make I'm
No.
just saying it's fucked.
No.
And like we're looking, I'm just showing you like this bullshit
Yeah.
background thing. And yeah, like to an artist's eye, you're like, yeah, that's obviously.
No, but where I was going with that is, as long as, because I said this in the beginning when we talked about AI, as long as it's ethically sourced. Because what you're saying is that the AI can make a bunch of lo-fi beats, like a trillion of them, because they're very simple, they're very formulaic. That's the key word. But it's not going to be able, at least now, to completely 100% do that without any sort of sample or any sort of reference. So if it's ethically sourced, they need to implement sort of royalties that get paid, right? This machine is sampling stuff from whoever you just described, right? And so it has to pay royalties to them, because those people made the music that the AI is using to sample and make new stuff. So if it's used that way, then hey, I mean, those guys can just continue to make stuff and get paid by these AI companies and not even have to work as hard, really, even though they'll probably still be making music. So if that's the path it goes down, then I really don't see too much of a threat.
I mean, we can only fucking hope that like royalties are implemented when it comes to this stuff, especially when it comes to art. I mean, let's look at hip hop, right? Jay-Z, Nas, I mean, every single sort of like MPC era hip hop artists, they sample like these soul records and stuff, like they have to pay royalties to these people that they sample from. That is very similar to what AI is doing. So I don't see why AI should be exempt from that. I think it's happened so fast that the legal ramifications haven't been able to catch up to it. But when it becomes more mainstay, these entertainment lawyers and media art lawyers should really sit down and be like, okay, this is going to displace a lot of people. It's going to eat a lot of people, which is a great term. That right there that sums it up perfectly. It's going to eat a lot of people. How can we make sure these people are taken care of fairly in this transition? Because the work that the AI is using is their work. So yeah, ultimately, if that can be figured out, then artists shouldn't feel as threatened. But that reality is scary, and it is very looming. I can see it being just like how we have not to get so fucking political. Jesus Christ, this is what you talk. This is a good podcast.
Yeah, man.
But I feel like we might even have like how we have a writers thing going on, like the actors thing over in California and Hollywood, all the people picketing and shit. Like, I could see that happening with artists in some way.
Yeah.
But I don't know how, because they're so by the balls. Like, they're so like, wait, no one's gonna pull a fucking who was it, Tom Petty or whatever the fuck, and like, I'm boycotting Spotify with my 5,000 monthly listeners. Be like, bye, who gives a shit? It's like, or even the guy that's with my 100,000 month, bye, who gives a shit? Like, it's just, you gotta like be at Spotify like headquarters and like knock on their friggin' doors and shit. Like, they're upping their. Apparently, I saw like the other day, like they're upping their premium charge.
Yeah, by $1. I think
by a couple bucks, like $3 or so, and lowering what they're paying artists.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean,
flying fuck, dude. Listen to Apple Music today.
Well, I mean, again, dude, I don't support that. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. I'm very upset that Spotify's doing that. I didn't know that they were paying artists less. That sucks.
That may just be hearsay, but I did see that. So you never know.
But that's always been the case with art, right? Like, if you're going into this business to make money, like, oh man, I'm going to make a lot of money as an artist, I got some real bad news for you. But if you're going into this business being like, I'm satisfied to have the chance to make a living off of doing something I don't hate and I love for as long as I can. Maybe one day you can't. Maybe AI just destroys everything. Maybe it destroys everything. Maybe no one drives. Maybe no one delivers packages. Maybe no one makes food anymore. Maybe it destroys everything, right? But that's
That'd be wild.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like, that's been an age-old, every single generation's been, an artist doesn't get paid enough. The writer doesn't get paid enough. And I'm not trying to say that those strikes are for a bad reason or that those people should stop, but that will continue to the end of time. People who hire artists don't know the effort that it takes, and so they try to underpay them because they see it as a commodity or just something that's apparel based, or with music just something that's atmosphere based. You know, so that's a struggle that's going to continue to the end of time. But my message, not to go off of this subject because it's a great debate, my message is like, if you're doing it because you love it, as crappy as that road might be, like, it's worth it. My dad just retired, and he said something that really stuck with me. He goes, I'm 60 and I never figured out what I wanted to do when I grew up. Because I asked him, I was like, what are you going to do? You don't have a job. Like, what, you going to race, like cars? He loves cars. What are you going to do? He goes, I never figured out what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I couldn't wrap my head around that, because I'm like, man, I've always had ideas of like what I wanted to do and what I was passionate about. But not everyone has that experience. Some people don't know.
I mean, I still think like, fuck, am I supposed to be doing this music shit?
Really? You think that in a room surrounded by XLR cables and instruments and stuff like that?
I mean, like, I'm one to get obsessed with something. You know, like,
that's honest. That's very honest.
So like,
that's very honest, bro.
So like, I'll go and like, I just feel like, you know, sometimes you're just so deep in the pool, you're just like, what? What fuck? Where the fuck am I even? Like, am I like, I'm so far in, it feels like, where it's like, was there other options back there?
Really?
I don't know. Like, it's not like it's a bad thing, but
it's not.
I feel very alone in where I am in music. Like, I can't,
interesting.
Like, there's not a lot of people that are doing stuff like me down the corner. Like, all my buddies that like I'm pretty tight with, like Matt from Vivi Vulture, or like Misha Bosby. Like, Matt's up in like fucking Connecticut or whatever the fuck, and Misha's down in Florida, and then like I have buddies in the UK, and so it's just like, and they're all like online friends, and people I've worked with, and so it's like, I'd love to like talk to them like IRL, get fucking beer with them and shit, and like there's people in Philly, but like it's just not a lot of people are on the wave I'm doing stuff. I'm not saying like I'm doing stuff better than anyone. Yeah. In any sense. I'm just doing like it in a different style. Yeah. Like Philly like has like quote unquote vapor nights.
Vapor nights.
But it's
dude,
like,
I'm going to a vapor night.
Yeah,
I have
it's
to.
like house
That's
music.
Awesome. Oh, okay.
Like I'm not, and like vapor themed or like drum and bass or like liquid drum and bass.
Dude, because like, I continue with your point, but if there's a vaporwave party, invite me, bro. I love
yeah.
that. Yeah.
If I ever go, I'll hit you up then.
Thank you, man.
So, because like I want to go, they seem fun and they play good shit, but like I do like slower, atmospheric, like even ominous type things, you know, like creepier things, and it's more like, oh, like I'm the guy you bring on when everyone's doing ketamine, or like I'm the guy when like it's tripping party, or like everything is like chill.
Yeah.
But like they have stuff that's like hype, and like I don't really fit, and I kind of feel awkward asking to go in because it's always like these. And I'm like, how is this a fucking vaporwave show? It's like, whatever, like do your thing. Like it's because it's themed that way, I guess.
Yeah.
And they have some samples mixed in. It's like, okay. Like if it was a vaporwave show, like I wanted to walk in and there's like 18 Karat Affair playing. It's like doom, you're like, fuck yeah, let's get wasted.
Some like giant screen projector playing just like I guess like a camera shooting down at a pool. You know what I mean? Just see like the water,
dude.
Just commercials for Pepsi and stuff like that.
It could just be 90s commercials.
Yeah, man.
But like like I don't have a lot of that around me, so it's hard to be like I'm doing the right thing here. Like I'm very much carving my own path.
Dude, we just said that's what the internet's for.
Yeah.
Like there's someone out there that goes to that vapor party and is like, yeah, this is too hype. I'm not feeling this. But they go online, they're like, dude, this was sick. Like I just sat in my room and listened to this while I played Abzu on Nintendo Switch, and yeah, this is what's up.
Well, like they're parties, you know. They can't just be a drony fucking mess that I, like, because I'm weird like that. Like, so I'm
You're not weird,
like,
man. You're an artist. You're making what you want to make. That's what artists do.
Yeah.
And you're not too deep in the pool, bro. You're exactly where you need to be. There's no such thing as too deep in the pool if it's something that you love to do.
Yeah, and it's just that I've had so many friends on floaties come along, and then like, you know, they get busy with other things. Like People Eating Fruit was just like, they just got busy. Like,
Yeah,
they just
that's what
didn't.
happens,
They just
man.
didn't have the time.
Mhm.
Like they had other lives to live, or
Yeah.
like had jobs or shit going on, or whatever the fuck.
Dude, totally.
And like People Eating Fruit was kind of half a joke.
Yeah.
And then like by the time people were like, yo, I love this band.
Yeah.
You guys are so good. Was by the time we're like, yo, we kind of like
Can't do this.
can't do this anymore at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then like COVID hit, so it was really like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Like, we're not doing shit.
COVID was a deep one, man.
This shit's over.
That was a deep cut. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I even lived with Francis, and we're just like, let's make vaporwave. Fuck this. Like, we're not doing that. We're not making a pop song right now, dude. No way.
Yeah. No, I mean, he has an incredible voice, and you guys are great. And I'm not sure if he's doing any sort of creative project now, but it's those things that you look back that are solid, that are like really good products that you put out, and it informs your next move or your next thing.
Francis just featured on my new track,
Nice.
Distance Doesn't Matter, by Aura Lynn. Go check it out now.
I'm gonna
never
listen.
promote my shit on this thing.
Dude, I'm going to a party after this, and on the way there, I'm gonna listen to Forest Kids. But yeah, man, that is you always as an artist, like, you constantly are discovering, and you have to just commit yourself to creating something new. If it doesn't work out, if it ended, I mean, if you feel like you have the capacity to go back and continue where you left off, that's fine. But there's nothing wrong with like starting something new. That's the big thing I've learned in like my career, my tenure as a creative, like what I do in character design and storyboard and all that stuff is like, I'm constantly starting and making something new. And I'm going to be doing that until I'm old, man. Like, I hope to be putting out comics and illustrations and doing voice acting until like I literally physically can't. So I'm always thinking about like the next thing.
Yeah.
What am I going to make next? What am I going to do next? Like, this book's almost done. I took a walk in Riverton. I walked by this yacht club and saw the sunset and beautiful ocean. And I started writing down the script for the next book, man. So it should always be forward thinking, man. Thinking about stuff that you made in the past. It's cool to reflect on if someone talks about it, or if you're getting paid for whatever you made in the past. That's great. But like, art is always about, in my opinion, moving forward. What's the best and newest way I can express how I'm feeling? How can I forge my path? How can I grow? How can I make something better? Better is like the key word. Like, that was dope. That was hot. Now it's time to make something better. Like, that's the energy, you know?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, let me know when you're done with your comic, because we'll just make the Forest Kids thing, man.
Cool, man. Dude, this comic has like a Forest Kids vibe, honestly, to it. I'll show you it in a second. But yeah, my buddy Sheldon, who's on the podcast, he's doing just like a 10-question interview with me about my comic making process. I'm actually going to transcribe that and put that in the book, because as you can tell, like, I could talk about creative process till I'm blue in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's the one thing I care about. Like, I don't care about much when it comes to like deep discussions, but man, the science of like making stuff and how I feel when I'm making stuff, I love that.
Dude, like, I mean, you said it right, they're like gonna die doing this stuff. Like,
Dude.
I like I always chuckle because like Aaron from Game Grumps,
I love Aaron.
He's like, I'm gonna die on camera.
Yeah.
Like, that's my goal.
Dude, let me tell you something. I love Game Grumps.
Yeah,
I love
dude.
them. That's so cool.
Oh man, I grew up. So like I grew up with Flash animations.
Yeah.
And like Flash like Newgrounds, all that dumb shit, and like the Awesome series. Like I literally remember being in high school and my buddy's like, dude, fucking Polka Awesome just dropped. I'm like, Polka Awesome, and like we were waiting for like the new animations from all those dudes.
Yeah.
Like Rubber Ross was a great animator.
Great. Yeah.
Like Rice Pirate when he would do shit, like all of them that are now just Let's Players.
Yeah.
Like, and then like these started Game Grumps. I didn't like John, so I didn't get into it.
That's
at
interesting.
First.
Okay.
I didn't like it, and then like when they got Danny, I'm like, Danny Sexbang from fucking Ninja Sex Party Day. Like I loved NSP. Yeah. And so that was like, all right, I'm watching Game Grumps.
Yeah, dude.
And that was it.
That's my comfort food channel. So like,
oh yeah, that's what I put on.
Yeah,
on my loading screens.
Okay, cool. Because like I was gonna ask, man, when you're creating music, like you don't get the chance to really like listen to stuff in the background because you're like,
fuck listening to music, dude. I hate listening to music.
But
today.
then how are you making? Because you constantly have to listen to stuff to make music. Is what I'm saying. Like you can't just have something playing in the background and make music at the same time. Or am I ignorant on that? It's not.
No, definitely not. So like you like that's what I'm saying. Like at least for me, like I make so much music. I'm listening to podcasts like all the time, or Kurt Vile. But that's just going like, don't worry about it. And it's just like, I need something that's just like, it's all right, like chill ass music. And I'm like, yo, fuck yeah, I'm gonna make some Aphex Twin ass beat when I get home.
Aphex Twins,
just like some weird shit. But like, yeah, I have to listen to anything that's not, because if I just like put on a beat, then my mind is thinking about this beat, or like a song or whatever. Like, no way. Like it has to be entertainment. Like it's a show or people talking.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, because no way am I listening to anything, because then I'm just taking influence, or it's not what I want it to be. I don't know. It's like adding. I don't know. I'm sure it's like watching anime while you're drawing, I guess.
I can't watch anything because I feel, and this is like maybe the corniest thing I'll ever say, I don't know another word to describe this. It's mildly disrespectful for me to like put on an anime that I love and not watch the animation.
Oh yeah.
So I just like, if I'm going to be glued to the screen, I want to be doing nothing. So I'll always listen to like Game Grumps. I listen to all the time when I draw, because I'm not missing anything. It's just two of them laughing and making jokes. And like it's not always the best jokes. Like some episodes are really down tempo, but yeah, if I'm ever devoid of ideas, I'll go put something on that really inspires me.
10-hour Wind Waker full playthrough.
10 years, something like that, yeah. Akira Toriyama said, he's obviously the creator of Dragon Ball Z. He said when he was making Z, like he would just put on movies in the background. And it's funny when you watch or read the Android Saga, you're like, this is very similar to Blade Runner. Like, you know what I mean? Like, has a lot of Blade Runner vibes to it.
Toriyama also said, oh, I totally forgot about Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah. He's he's an enigma. That guy's absolutely amazing. But
what do you think? Have you been following Super stuff at all?
You know, I really love Superhero. A lot of people were complaining about, people were complaining about the animation. I thought it worked really well.
Yourselves.
Yeah, I think the future of the series kind of lies in his hands, Toriyama's hands, and you know he's getting older and his capacity to work on new things is dwindling. They're actually they're taking a lot of his old stuff. So he made a one shot back in 2002. It's called Sandland, and that's being adapted into a movie in the same visual style as Superhero. I feel like a lot of what happens next with that franchise sort of depends on him, because he's proven that he can write the stories better than Toyotaro or like the other people that they have doing Dragon Ball Superheroes or just like the Super manga. So yeah, man, I've been following it. When it comes to artists,
like the Moro arc, have you seen those?
It was cool. I mean but that was just like very Monster of the Week. I thought Superheroes was interesting because,
but then they made Frieza like a real
Black
villain
Frieza
again.
Yeah,
but like because he's not like a, oh no, he's in front of us and we have to beat him right now.
Yeah,
he's fucked off.
Yeah.
And is just now this thing they have to address at some point in some way.
My theory is that they could tell that when the gas arc came by, that most previous one, that the manga was losing a little steam. And so they did this thing with Frieza to kind of gauge the reaction. And then the writers immediately said, okay, we're going to adapt. Because in the manga right now, they're adapting the superhero manga. Just to give them time to develop an arc that's actually good. And that'll actually propel Super into whether it's another anime adaptation or whether it's another movie that's kind of come out. They just need time to make it better because it was suffering for a little bit. Like it was, the gas arc was low readership. Like it's been pretty rough. So I think
I didn't even know it fucking existed until Twitter showed me.
Yeah, exactly. So they know that the manga's not doing too hot, but the movie was amazing. I mean the
manga looks cool. Like I'm not saying it's bad.
No,
I look like big Goku form and all that shit. Like that, I'm like, what? Vegeta's purple hair. Oh my!
Ego was cool. Yeah, that was awesome.
They're doing a chakra thing.
Yeah,
it took me to him having purple hair to realize it's chakras. Oh fuck.
Yeah. I mean, Dragon Ball is one of those things that's just going to go on forever, and our kids are going to be watching it. And I think with Tenkaichi 4, they're just getting ready to do like the next big thing. So I think it's just going to
ruin it with DLC.
Probably. It's probably going to be all DLC, but
pay $150 to get everyone.
They'll wait till like an anniversary of the series, and they'll drop a movie, they'll drop the game, and then maybe they'll do one more thing. But yeah, I think. For anybody who hasn't like experienced Dragon Ball, if that's even possible, go back and read the manga. Like on a real rainy day, like go pick up like the original 1980s Dragon Ball comic and just check that out, man. It's impossible not to read that book. Yeah, man, I see the stickers and not be inspired.
No, those are the books.
Oh, I thought those were stickers.
No,
they're books under your keyboard. That's unusual. Okay. Wow.
Because I have two keyboards.
Oh, the Viz manga big editions. Yeah. Okay, I had those. That threw me off for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm fucking cheap, dude. I'm not getting individuals.
No, man. I have those at my house. But yeah, it's impossible not to read his early stuff and not be inspired.
I'm surprised the granola arc and gas shit is in like Barnes and Nobles and shit.
Yeah.
We were at Barnes and Nobles yesterday, and I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I wonder if they have like the tournament at least in here. And I'm like, oh shit, Big Goku.
It's there.
Well, not Big Goku, but it was like they were fighting the guy. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't read it. I've just like seen the highlight clips and like all like the crazy transformations.
I buy it all and read it all, man. But yeah, all that stuff is available. I'm in the process of creating like my office, like my creative studio. That's why it's really cool to see this. At my house, I usually work in my living room.
If this wasn't doors,
yeah,
this would be the best basement ever.
If this wasn't doors,
because this is like yeah, it's all storage, but like it's also like the water heater and like the other bullshit, and the vents and this is laundry. So like it kills making it a full piece, so that's the kind of hard part I have.
Yeah.
But like I really can't wait to have a space where it's just like 4 fucking walls at least.
Yeah, because then you can utilize to your maximum capacity.
Like as I'm saying, I'm just in this corner. It's not really like I have this room.
Yeah. I can't work with my back facing where people come through. I don't know what it is. It's just my paranoia. But like here, I'd be like kind of like, all right, anyone can walk up behind me.
There was a little bit when we first got here. There was a couple times of getting a little spooked out. And then like thinking like you seeing some shit like dog glasses suck, like especially if you're like 6 beers deep and you're just like ripping like when we first got here, right, it took a while to get the desk and everything, so it's just like a mess of all my shit, and then like this piece of shit desk I had over here, and like my laptop's on books, it's just like nothing, and I'm just like ripping the bong. It's like, oh man. this is crazy. And like there was like a glare in my glasses, and I really thought there was like a little girl like standing next to me. And I'm like, fuck, dude, this place is haunted. We just got here. Fuck, man. Am I gonna have to deal with this shit all the time? Never happened again.
No, it's very scary, man.
And like I'm like, I'm not going through this. No way. I'm just like, I was just too tired or some shit.
Nah, man, as usual, it's our imagination that breeds the most fear. So that's very funny that you say that.
Oh, big time. And like I don't get like spooked out anymore. Like I used to be just like Courage the Cowardly Dog, I feel like anytime it was dark or I was alone, there was just like a stillness. And I'm like, oh no, it's that scene. I've watched too many Conjurings. I know what happens when the music cuts off. And she looks over to the empty room. Something's gonna fucking happen.
Dude, I feel like as an adult, like not that I have a brutal life, I'm very fortunate, but like I've had so much go sideways, especially this year, that like my mind is so fixated on that I don't ever get spooked out. I'm like, I wish a killer was here, bro. So I want to have to deal with what I have to deal with tomorrow. Like, oh my gosh, bro. You know what I mean? It's, on some level, like as an adult, like as a kid, I'm just like, oh, is the ceiling moving? Like, is the shadow? Like as an adult, I'm like, if it's gonna come and choke me in my sleep, like please let this happen. I don't have to deal with this deadline.
I don't want to
work over the weekend.
I don't want a person, no intruder. But if it's like supernatural, I'm like, all right, let's see where this fucking goes. Whatever. Like I'm going through some shit. We could use a buddy.
Totally, man. I mean, that's kind of. It's just like, and when you lay down in your bed, sometimes it just all piles up, and you're like, yeah. That's when people have a hard time going to sleep. But me, I just think to myself like, all right, a chance to escape and come back and attack it tomorrow from a different angle. You know what I mean? It's like literally quitting the game for a little bit.
Beautiful.
Yeah, dude.
Is that a good place to stop?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sorry if like I kind of
Oh shit!
2 hours.
No, it's good.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. It's like an hour and a half.
Sorry if I didn't land the plane as smoothly with that last thing, but
oh no, that was great.
I just want to say thanks so much, man, for having me on. Dude, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on in the early days of the show. Like that was awesome. I really appreciate it.
Dude, I think you totally, like, you and 25 O'Clock Pod, like, inspired me to do a podcast.
Oh, man. That's so sweet.
And mainly, I'd say yours, because yours was so free. Like, 25 O'Clock Pod's, like, his is, like, really, like, well-crafted. Yeah. Or, like, he knows what he's fucking talking about when he's talking to you.
Totally, yeah.
And he's got, like, shit lined up, and you're like, oh, damn, you listened to that? But, like, it was so free-forming. It was what I always wanted a podcast to be like. Mm-hmm. And kind of what I wanted this to be like, where it's like we're talking about you, but also like, yeah, dude, fucking new Zelda's hard. Like,
yeah,
stuff like that.
Well, this is not something that we're making for someone to sit down with a notebook. This is something that you should listen to while you're walking, and maybe we say something that inspires you or makes you think a different way. And if that's the case, then I think it's been worthwhile. I appreciate it, man.
Dude, thanks for kicking off season 4.
Dude, season 4.
Yeah, season 4. Let's go.
I love how you do podcast seasons, man. So it's been 4 years?
I wouldn't... kind of... I mean, I started it... It's coming up. It's like the 3rd year. I started it in 2020.
Yeah.
Like right before pandemic.
That's when everyone started their stuff. That's
well,
so
it was
funny.
right before pandemic because I was doing it at RTI when we could use those studios at the time. Anyway,
shade.
They, you know, I had people in. I was gonna make it like video. I was gonna do Joe Rogan style because we have a fucking TriCaster system.
Yeah,
that's really easy to use. So I'm like, yo, I could set this shit up.
Yeah,
or like,
At
least put a camera going, like get something going. Use like my laptop screen. Fuck it. And that didn't work out. First videos was trash. I was like, it's audio only. I'm not working with video. Fuck this. And
yeah, that's another added level of complexity.
Fuck video.
That's another reason why I stopped too, because I'm like, bro, I'm editing for like a while. And it's just like, dude, this is not worth the time.
Yeah. Like, that's how I am, like, when I'm... Because, like, every video, every release of mine... I know we were going to end it, but fuck off. We got an epilogue. Here we go.
No, hey, we have epilogue. We'll talk about technical stuff.
My, like, every release I do, I try to do a YouTube video for it. Just whether it be a full music video or a slight accompaniment with a little logo thing.
Sick.
But there was a point where I'm just like, fuck, dude, I hate this fucking song. Like, I can't believe I'm making this video. Like, holy shit, this is taking forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fuck, yeah, especially a whole hour and a half of like what HD quality videos,
No,
and you're
man.
chopping back and forth. Go fuck yourself.
Nah, I mean, if you have someone famous on that like you love, like then it's worth it. Or like someone that's like,
If I have 500 people watching, maybe like I know,
yeah,
it's a bad day. We get
Yeah.
500. Like, you know what I mean? If that's the case, absolutely. If that's not, I'm sorry, y'all. So tell a friend if you want video,
dude. Yeah, it's that's a lot, man. Yeah, but here's the moral of the story and a good place to end, I think. Just put it out, man. Just put it out. Don't think about it too much. Just put it out. And, you know, if you don't like it, then make a better one next time.
Andrew, where can we find your shit, bro?
Dude, follow me on Reddit at Andrew Arcangeli on Reddit, and my last name is Arcangeli, and then I have
Say your last name one more time for me.
Arcangeli, Arcangeli, sorry.
Fuck, I've been butchering it for years.
Nah, you're cool,
I'm
man. It's
sorry.
you just have to think about it this way. It is literally the Italian phrase for the plural of archangel, because in Italian everything ends with an I. That's plural, so it's archangels, Arcangeli. That's my name. And you can go on Arcangeli Design on Instagram, and that's where a lot of my art is. And then if you just look me up, Andrew Arcangeli on Instagram, that's probably where I'll be posting the book stuff until I migrate it to different platforms. And if you're in the tri-state area, you might see me at a Comic-Con selling my art. So there you go.
Homie is jacked.
Yeah, and then come to the Edge Gym. I won't tell you which one I go to, but you might see me if you go to any of the participating Edge gyms.
There you go.
in
There's
New
an
Jersey.
Easter egg hunt for you.
Dude, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Dude,
Thank you.
thanks so much for coming by.
Oh, man. All right.